Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you America's top foundational health coach, Dr. Joe D.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Jody Bear. This is the last time you're going to be seeing the background from Aruba, but it's not going to be that we won't have Aruba on our minds. My goodness gracious, you'll hear about that at the end of the show. But for those of you that don't know, this is my favorite. The fourth Thursday of the month is my favorite. Did I say it's my favorite? It is my favorite time of the month. Why? Because we've got Doctor Talk. I've got the panel, the absolute true healing, world-class physicians and mental health experts. That's what Renee Brown is. And you're going to hear from them. And what we're going to be talking about today is from the heart. Well, from the heart is when I started. Who knew this health coach would end up having 45 years and 35,000 client patients coming through her office before I retired. And then I unretired 6 weeks later when our COVID hit. And that's why we're talking about heart today, by the way. Just know that we're going to get into a couple of, I should say, real important and pertinent topics this next 2 months. So today is heart. And I will tell you next month, May, is going to be May 21st, where we talk about advocacy. I know I could say that big word. Advocacy when you find yourself in the hospital. That is a very, very important. And when you find yourself, what do? Be preemptive. That's what we do in preemptive. That's how we got to the heart of the matter with this 1.1 million pounds of toxic fat loss. That's how we got to the heart of the matter with the 6 pillars of health. That's how we got to the heart of the matter in healing and hope. And that's why next retreat is going to be in Kauai, Hawaii. So we'll have healing. We can have harmony. We can truly, truly have that for humanity once we have hope. You heard that message of hope. And I know we're going to be talking about the hope and what does it mean for the heart of the matter for hope. And before I bring up my distinguished panel, I'm just going to do a little bit of ad for me because it is spring. And frankly, Dr. Jim and I came back and said, Jody, he just said to me, we need to do more than just twice a year, twice a quarter. So we're going to be doing something right here, just like Dr. Bill is doing, Make Your Belinda Healthy Again. And he's doing something local. We're going to be doing these monthly symposiums at EPI Wellness Center, the Corporate Wellness Center in Pompano Beach, Florida. But if you can't make it on the 5th of May, guess what? You can live stream it. We've got it all covered here because spring cleaning is what it's all about. So I'm going to just show you a little video about and from SpongeBob here before I bring up my distinguished panel. It's Give Me 5. What is 5? 5 seasons. Yes. You know, there's that 5th one that we talked about. 5 cleanses, 5 aspects of life, and 5 elements in traditional Chinese medicine. So we're going to start with spring cleaning here, May 5th, and just plan to be there with us. Where we're going to do, you can go ahead and register at, if we're known, and Renee Brown gave us this, this wonderful Healthopedia. Was kind of hard to go ahead and, what do we want to say? Write out, remember, oh, did it hit spell check? Did it do this check? Well, Renee went ahead and said, let's just call us the HAP tribe. Then we end up being happy. And now we are just the happiest people alive now that we've got this beautiful thing that we call Aruba behind us. We're called the Love Club. You'll hear about that later. I just can't help keep talking about it. And I know you'll be here with us in Kauai, Hawaii. So this is where you can register, hap.eventbrite.com. So let's take a look at SpongeBob, shall we? Before we start our panel on health. More. Well, let's try
Clean those
SpongeBob
closets,
there.
clean those cupboards, clean those floors, clean those
Yard, clean the garage, and more. So what is the more? The more is spring cleaning. Is it all in your gallbladder? Does your liver quiver? Let's make it happen. So give me 5. You can do it online with us remotely, or if you're close to South Florida, see you in Pompano Beach. There we go. So this is what we're going to do. I'm so excited to bring none other than the Dr. Bill Baseball himself being our leadoff back today. And of course, with the beautiful Renee as well from Next Level Recovery. Glenn is in Chicago. You know what I love, guys, about our symposium and our panel? We've made such a commitment to ourselves because we've made a commitment to each other and to those that we serve, Bill. And you are just an exemplary you're just an exemplary manifestation of that. He is doing a beautiful group now. He's calling it Make Your Belinda Healthy Again. These workshops that he's doing locally. So if you're anywhere in Southern California, just drive, hitchhike, be there, because you've got such great content because of who you are. And so, Bill, make sure you take a screenshot of that. I'm going to say your podcasts are just amazing because I love the name of them. Conquering stress. Don't we all need to have a little conquering? And that kind of goes in with the heart. So I'm going to say, Bill, because I know you got a commitment and you made your commitment to us. Thank you. Please, what say you about heart health to make us healthy from the heart?
Well, that's very specific. I actually did a class on this. I do monthly classes in my office just like you do, just to get it out to the community, educate them. And a lot of things have changed or improved even. But the heart is something that we used to, it's just a pump. It just pumps blood. And the cardiovascular system is very good. And you can take it from all levels of it. When you bring up the Conquering Stress podcast, is my whole thing in the office is what causes stress is physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. And any one of them can affect you. If I punch you in the face, you're going to have a reaction, something. But if I also spray you with chemtrails or processed foods or Raid, your body's also going to have a similar effect that's going on there. And then if I make you sad or angry or something like that, those are all going to be similar effects on the body. So the stress it's just like you said, and it's almost like we say every week, because you got all those hippies on here just talking from all aspects of health and not just sickness and symptom relief. It always goes back down to the core. It talks about your 5. What 5s are you doing? Are you taking care of those? Because nowhere else in things that we're treating does this come full circle as the heart, because the first symptom of heart disease, or the most common symptom of heart disease, is sudden death. I've known 3 people.
I think it's a little late when that happens.
Just a tad. Yeah, just a tad late. But I've personally known 3 people that have gone to the doctor, did their test, got anything. Well, you look fine. And literally within the day, died of a massive heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them on the golf course, so I don't know how their game was. And the other one was at home in this chair. You're fine. Your blood tests are normal. So heart health happens way before any symptom, just like anything else. But the heart is so important that if you don't take it, it'll grab you. It will grab your attention. And
Yes.
when it, you cannot get around it. I'm a chiropractor, so people say, "Oh, my back doesn't hurt that much." Well, it's not supposed to hurt at all, but they can still meander through a day. You can toughen it up, buttercup, and make it through the day if you're just mitigating pain. But when your heart goes, it goes. And we've learned a whole lot of things about the heart that, and I've said this for years, is the heart does not pump blood. It initiates movement. And
Mm. Say
it's
that again. Say that again.
right.
That was great.
Well, the heart sits in the chest, and it's one muscle that's just wrapped around you, and it sits at about a 26 degree in the chest, and it's called a chestahedron. And then when it pumps, it doesn't pump like this. Like, we're taught, the heart pumps.
Uh-huh.
It twists, like if you were wringing out a washcloth.
Dish rag.
Yeah, and you're doing like that. And when it moves like that, it creates a vortex, like a spin. And that has, if you want to go way hippie and go into the details on it, it creates like a magnetic, energetic vortex, and that kind of moves the blood throughout the body. But it takes the rest of the limbs and the muscle. This is why movement's so important. This is why chiropractic care is so important, because it's the little details of how you're moving on how well you're able to push the blood around.
Well, and Bill, just because I wish Glenn was here to listen to you.
Why?
Oh, because you're dropping so many gems. I'm so jealous. Okay. But when you say the hippie thing, because you are known as the hippie chiropractor. So there you go. And that movement. So continue on with the movement, because you're on a roll today. You really are.
Well, that's just how the heart do it, because in this age of Google and AI, and we have so much more information, but it doesn't get out to the public and mainstream for 20 years. And we still have old paradigms that we have to break to make us think. In fact, there's new studies saying that about 80% of the things that we believe is true on how the body actually works are not true. And in the next 5 and 10 years, we're going to see a big shift in that. But as the heart goes and it starts to pump, and this is why you've got to be moving around. We spend so much time of our time sitting in one spot, but then we upgrade and then we stand in one spot, because now my desk moves up and down and I can sit and stand. Wow. I'll get patients in and I'll say, well, what kind of exercise are you doing? Well, I like to walk. I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. Do you do anything else that a 2-year-old does not do for survival, that actually moves the body?
Nice.
It's not only the quantity of motion, but the variety of motion. You should be out there dancing. Anybody can go to the gym and do back and bis, chest and tris, and legs and abs 3 days a week, but try dancing. Instead of just pushing one way, maybe we just move a little bit around, because you've got to get those muscles moving to get the blood around all the nooks and crannies. And when you're talking about a heart disease, a lot of times people will talk about, the good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all a farce too. I mean, you look at the statins are probably one of the worst things that have ever come.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question that you already know the answer to.
Okay.
What do statins?
It should be easy.
What do statins do? What do they do?
They block cholesterol, so they cut down cholesterol from being used. But again,
and the side effects are the brain. Everything.
Well, the brain is 25% cholesterol. The myelin that goes around all the nerves in your body. The cholesterol makes up every cell and hormone in your body. So if your body's not producing enough, or you're cutting the supply down, then you can't make blood cells and hormones and things, and that creates a whole bunch of different symptoms. So the statins, the studies have only showed there between your first and second heart attack, there's a slight benefit and I'm talking slight, that it's beneficial. Everything else, it's everything that they've claimed that it does, that it's going to save people from heart attack. It doesn't do that. There's not a study. I mean, just by your experience, or you just look at the data, it does not do that. So when you see a product like that, or even a paradigm like that, that you go like, well, we've been doing this for a good 40 or 50 years, and the outcomes aren't great. So maybe we should look at something else. Um, and that's why we're here. That's why we have these talks, is to bring people like Glenn and Mike and you and Renee and all the cool kids together to over here to talk about these things, because we have the information, but it's information nowadays is never an issue. It's always implementation and taking the action and just making it part of it. But with the heart, it's not. It's like I said, it's not only okay. Well, I exercise and I eat great. I say, great. Who are you in love with? What's your purpose in life? Do you get out? Do you look at the sun? Are you out in the sun? You're in Florida.
Mhm.
You don't have to sit there and sizzle like a piece of bacon. I mean, you look at me, and I'm in sunny California, and I'm 2 shades away from transparent most of the year. But I still try to get out there, and you got to get the photons in there, because that's where all the real energy comes in your body.
Yes,
And
yes, and yes.
and we've got to look at what we've talked about, good and bad cholesterol. There's no good and bad cholesterol. There's appropriate cholesterol and there's appropriate cholesterol. It's what your body do. The LDL is actually anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
It's a healing process. So whenever you see LDL go up, if you look at, someone under stress, which most people are, they're going to have low HDL, high LDL, and they started blaming LDL on stuff because they'd find people with heart attacks in autopsy. They'd look at the plaques and they say, "Oh my God, what's in this? LDL's in here. Oh, that son of a bitch. What was he doing there?" But that's like saying that rats cause dumps or police cause robberies, because every time you drive by one, that's what you see there. So they were a little quick to jump to conclusions, which it's okay to test something and fail, but after 50 years of not really moving the needle, unfortunately, we've probably made trillions of dollars on these medications to save you, when
Mhm.
you can go out and take care of yourself and keep moving. There's no reason to stop moving.
No. And
No.
you know about moving that meat suit. And I know, Renee, you know about moving that mental health with heart. And by the way, thanks again for bringing us onto your dance card. And we'll see you on the 21st of May. But I really do believe, and I'm just going to say, yes, we're going to be coming out to you with the Art of Manifestation film. For the sake of time, I'm not going to be showing the deal that we have with the trailer, but you can go to the Art of Manifestation. The trailer is beautiful, and frankly, the website is really a training platform more than anything. I'm very happy about it, to say that I'm even in the company of people like Bruce Lipton, John DeMartini, you name it, and all of a sudden you see Jody Bear in there saying, very interesting, when and this is a nice segue, the thing that they put in the trailer, Renee, that they said, you can either be your own worst enemy or your best friend. That's what they pulled out of every, like 2 hours worth of content there, and that has something to do with the heart. So what say you
Mhm.
about the topic, Renee?
Well, thank you, Jody. So glad to be here, and so appreciative of you, Dr. Bill. And I was just going to say, let's dance. But, you know, that Aruba experience that we all had was just off the map. Can I say that?
Yes, and we'll get to Aruba when down the road, but you can say anything you want until Glenn comes on up. You're just allowed.
Oh my goodness. Thanks. Sorry, I dropped something. Um, It was so amazing. And in fact, on this subject, you know what I want to do is I want to just kind of draw from what happened there because I think it was probably one of the best examples of high heart energy, possibly that I've ever experienced. And I'm going to tell you, there was a few things that happened, and I check in with all of the participants as we were there. And what happened upon the introduction is it was like we all knew each other for
Yes.
a long time. And it was that way for every single person. That was remarkable. And when I asked other participants, they were like, yeah, I've never felt actually anything like that from the start.
No.
And, you know, it was a great reflection of our heart rate variability, which is trending right now that we keep on top of. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on. But the amount of coherence, the
Yes.
expansion of love that we felt in our hearts was immediately refreshing. It was healing. We benefited from so much regulation. And when we all meditated with each other, what happened there for everyone was beyond one.
Yes.
It was, I don't know. I don't even want to put a number to it. It just was so amazing what we experienced. And, you know, as I just kind of put this into everyday context, you know, something that I've looked at because I love, you know, the study of heart and connection and our environment. And I was looking at an experiment with bacteria. You know, you've got bacteria one side of the room, bacteria another side of the room, and naturally the bacteria can feel the pain from another group. They can
Wow.
feel the
Bacteria,
bacteria.
bacteria and heart. I never would have. You always surprise me with such beautiful things.
Well, you know, I'm building up to something that was off the map in Aruba. You know, Dr. Jody, I think we all felt that level of connection
Yes.
and some of the best of what we can enjoy when we're coherent and we feel so safe from each other is
Yes.
that we can even have experiences some may call psychic, others may say, oh, well, no, that's a mirrored neuron. We're so in sync, we can absolutely, you know, feel the reality in another person's mind. So I'm not going to split hairs, but that was also experienced over there. So with that large opening, high bar of, you know,
Hi,
what
hi.
is it to just feel so much love and so much safety that you just feel like as a group you can do anything? And all of us came together with causes to change the world.
Yes. And when you have that
You,
much heart in things, it's gonna ring out really well. Like Bill said, you know, wringing out a washcloth. It's gonna really move.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the heart, when we think about it, is really like an orchestra conductor. It has some special privileges as far as messaging that the brain doesn't. And it in itself can release some hormones. It can really assist organ health, release beneficial hormones that can benefit and improve the entire body and
Mm.
even the brain. It really allows us that, I mean, it's our power center. It's the most powerful organ in our entire body. And I don't know that we touch on that enough in all that we do. But the brain is a control center, and it's responsible for critical thought, problem solving, bodily functions, memory, metabolic health. It goes on and on. But bottom line, because I want to stick to probably some relational health, which just is a direct connection to how our mental health is doing. How we're doing mentally is so much about our relational health. And our relational health is everything also about our physical health. It's just so connected. So, one thing, when we're at our center and we're looking at individuals, maybe in a group setting, and we're looking at where people are coming from, when we see.
And just so I want to just to interject, because I just brought you up and I didn't say, for those of you that are new, Renee Brown has one of the largest facilities east of California, west of the Mississippi, on all natural mental health, next level recovery housing, medical mind share. She is a sponsor of the Healthopedia channel. And I'm going to let you go on until I see Glenn up here, because he's training in Chicago, and we might do you in 2 parts, but keep rolling until I see Glenn. Keep going, Renee.
Sure. So, if we just step back from conflict, a friendship, a partner, in any circumstance, and if we can go into our heart where we're safe and we can explore the feeling doesn't have words. The brain can get tripped up over.
Oh, and isn't that a great place for Glenn to come in when we say feeling doesn't have words, but it does have a word, and it's called Dr. Glenn Depke in Chicago. Welcome. Thank you for squeezing us in here. I know, you had to get away from your Cubs baseball, and Bill, because he was a baseball guy, hit it out of the park, and you're just going to have to listen to the replay, because I told him he was dropping nuggets and didn't even plagiarize from you this time, Glenn.
Well, I didn't give him the opportunity.
And Renee has been giving us such great, just heart things. We have named ourselves since Aruba. We're now called the Aruba Love Club, because it's all
that is so awesome.
And put on your training calendar May 21st, where we're going to go. I've already announced it, because hospitalization may be in your future. In the future, you don't know this, but how to be preventative and be an advocate prior to this happening is what we're going to go in May. So just get ready. It's this is kind of a gooey subject. The other is going to be deep, but I just want to honor you from wherever you are doing your corporate training. You always find the time. And I said that your commitment to health, but your commitment to us as a tribe shows your commitment to health. So Glenn, what say you about heart health for as long as you have your lunch break? Let's go.
Yeah. And it's, here's the thing. I'm going to bring up just one specific subject that I'm finding to be a huge issue for people in my clinic, a huge issue across really not only just the US, but also the world, and actually an issue that I'm even dealing with right now concerning my heart. And this is a big thing that's affecting a lot of people. And it's like, we all remember back in 2020, and we referred to it as the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the real pandemic is now. It wasn't in 2020, because there's so many people, myself included, that are dealing with high levels of what are known as spike proteins in our body. And this is from people, if you've just had COVID, like I was not vaccinated, but I did have a really bad case of COVID back in January of 2020. And, honestly, even before we knew it was called COVID. And also it's very well recognized that when somebody has received an mRNA vaccine, those vaccines, it's very well documented, they were programmed to create spike proteins in the body. Well, what most people don't know is these spike proteins have the ability to get into every cell in the body and basically destroy the cell from the inside out. Yeah, so so it really, there's not a part of your body where you could say it can't be affecting. But here's the bigger challenge is that, depending on how high and this is something that can easily be tested with your spike protein antibodies, which is a reflection of how many spike proteins are actually in your body. Well, if you're over 1,000, it's dangerous. If you're over 1,000, it can potentially cause destruction within any cell in the body. But here's the kicker tied into heart health. If you're over 5,000, you're at a whole nother level of danger. Not only can the spikes attack any cell in your body, if you're over 5,000, you're likely dealing with chronic systemic inflammation throughout your body. You're likely dealing with blood clotting. You have 24/7 spikes traveling through your blood in every moment of every day. And on top of that, you're dealing with a new term that they even had a coin for this. It's now called turbo cancer, because it used to take years or decades to develop cancer. Now you could develop cancer like it's nothing. Yes, thank you for snapping when I can.
It's over,
Yeah.
and it's over and nothing.
And here's the kicker with this tied into heart health. It makes you highly suspect to endocarditis, which is an inflammatory condition of the heart and the valves of the heart. And with the numbers I'm throwing out there, just to be very candid, remember, over 1,000 is dangerous, and over 5,000 is, whole different level of danger. And again, that likelihood of the endocarditis. Well, my highest test result I had back in October 29th of just last year, I was at 11,694. And I recognize that the endocarditis is something that I'm still, working on overcoming, as I'm also working on overcoming these spikes. But I recognize it because my heart rate, which used to be between 55 and 60 on a regular basis, all of a sudden shot up to 80 and stayed at 80 with consistency. So in essence, my heart has been beating 20, 25 times more every single minute of every single day, just to do the same job it was doing before I had this issue with the spike protein. So it's one of the things that it's easy to test. And here's, just to be kind of upfront, I have every one of my clients test for this. And this is something I suggest to anybody, that you should get your spike protein antibodies test. And from the perspective that it's an easy test to do, it's through LabCorp. It only costs $79. You don't need a doctor's prescription. You could go right to LabCorp. That link that I gave you, Jody, is the link where everybody can buy their own tests. And I'll even go one step further. Jody, if you could.
Where is the link? At your on your site?
I emailed it to you. Or no, I'm sorry, I texted it to you.
Okay, let me just put this up here in just a minute. I'll get it up.
And just so you know, that website is incorrect. It's just depkeywellness.com. Not Glenn at Depke, not Glenn Depke Wellness.
I don't know. It's because I like your first name, I guess.
So I really wanted to, because I am going to have to run, because I'm in the middle of a training, and I just had to kind of skip out for a moment. But I wanted to really let everybody know this, and I say it from firsthand of somebody who has been dealing with it personally. And this issue not only has created the issue with the endocarditis and the heart issues for me, but it's created a lot of symptoms that I've been dealing with for the last couple of years that I'm finally recovering from. And so if you're wondering why you're dealing with something and no doctor can explain it, get those antibodies tested.
Yes. And I mean, depkeywellness.com. Let me tell you something, Glenn. I always want to say, for those that are maybe like, well, these are natural people. Thank heaven that you were on top of it. Thank heaven that your baseline health was as strong as it was. So when something doesn't happen, at least you've got your Superman suit on for a bit. So tell your corporate trainers just that you have a fan club throughout the YouTube nation, and you've got 2 women that just think you're the best. Thank you, Glenn.
Well, you're all the best too. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao. So Renee, thank you for, we know how to just do this. So go to depkeywellness.com. I'm looking for the site to get that test, because prevention is really key. You've heard me say that we've been together a long time, but when I say maybe it'll go away, it's the tap on the shoulder, it's the 2x4. Well, take care before it's the Mack truck. And Glenn is just being so when I heard this, that's why we're a tribe. And I will just say, and you took the V-Guard, which it's a little bit like a healthy dose of a bourbon or granddad and that kind of thing. Think about going ahead and doing we did this for our jet lag, and we had been from New York to Aruba and whatever to take care of inflammation. And ladies and gentlemen, you've seen, I just feel compelled to bring this up, not that for anything more than if you contact me through my health coaching website, because it's doctor prescribed only, drjodee.com. Dr. Jim and I created, and he is the master formulator and longevity genius. And VGuard and what it does to take care of this anti-inflammatory response will make all the difference in the world. And I just said, Glenn, I didn't know you had this problem. Get you some VGuard. And he goes, yes, man. That's how we help each other. So, Renee, just please take a few more minutes and go where you left off and take it away.
Well, thank you. So, I think many of us know what it is to feel when we're in our head versus our heart. Huge difference. Worse, the other person can feel it just much more. Big difference. And we are so pre-wired for fear to preserve our species. There's a lot of hacks that we just kind of have to keep in mind in education to stay away from that type of a mode. When we're in our head, that's usually where we go. So we can analyze, problem solve, ruminate, become anxious. And where's the tree? Where's the forest from the trees? It gets lost, and that's that feeling. And what kind of ties everything together as a great hack is taking a look at your heart rate variability. Because when we're in a really good place there, what's going to happen is we're emotionally available. We're prone to have a lot less defense mechanism going on. And when we're in that mode, we can get each other. We're in sync, just like the bacteria, even though I know that's probably not a great thing to name. I'm like bacteria. Well, we're made up of so much of it. But that sync it's just such a lovely feeling. It's just that.
Sync. It's more than a movie. It's more than a group. It's more than, and here you are. You can find Renee at Medical Mindshare. She and Michael have created a non-for-profit to serve the underserved. And what I can say is in sync. Who knew that we would find ourselves because of room availability? Y'all, I had a roommate for 8 days, and it happened to be Renee Brown. You talk about being in sync from the heart. One of the most meaningful times in a hotel room, but we're not from Alabama. Don't worry. We don't have to go there. But just being with you, experiencing you, Renee, and we've known each other a while.
Mm-hmm.
When we first met, we went straight to the heart. We went straight in. And if you just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a roving kind of broadcast about it's all about the heart. You heard back from Bill talking about statins, that there's not any good and bad cholesterol. You need that our heart is a movement. Glenn came on from Chicago, and he talked about how it absolutely, the spike proteins, you can get the test at LabCorp. It's $79. Go in, get it, because you need to do that. And then we have prevention and getting you back to square one. We have those keys for you. So from that standpoint, then Renee, what you talked about being in sync and just the awareness and aliveness, because that's what we had, because we were in alignment. And then we had abundance in Aruba for sure. But I want to talk about 3 very, very succinct things, something I don't normally do. And one of them is a supplement that everybody knows about, melatonin for the heart, but beware. I have clients say, well, I usually take 5 milligrams of melatonin, but I couldn't sleep. I took 15 last night. There is a similar, but not the same, of course, overdosing on a prescription drug, overdosing on a supplement. Stay clear of that. Use something like lavender. There's an essential oil that I get from Nature's Symphony. You can go ahead and send me an email. They're in Boca Raton, best oils on planet Earth because they're 1-to-1. You're going to remember the name of this oil. It's called Sleep. And remember, I put something when we got, and I put some on, I gave you a little bit on your hands, and you just rub the essential oil behind your ears, and it does amazing things because of the vagus nerve coming here and it going to your heart. So if you have been told to just stay at the prescribed dosage of melatonin. Number 2, you've heard, and this, I'm telling y'all, we don't ever talk, do we, Renee, when we do this? We don't ever, we throw out a topic. Sometimes we throw out a topic the night before because this is being in sync from the heart. And I wanted to talk about the clotting factor 7. And it has nothing. And I said, I'm going to say, I did not take the vaccine. If you had, it's okay. But there's a way to get through that with certain, and I've got 2 blogs that are on the back of drjodee.com. One, your basic 7 of your supplements, your daily supplements. And then there's a longer list if you've been vaccinated. But the one issue, and even if you did not take the vaccine, so I'm safe. Well, maybe not, because you're getting the spike proteins and the graphene oxide. It's a shed all the time. So staying on top of that, that's when Dr. Glenn said the pandemic is now, and it will be here now until 2030. That's just what we're doing. So it's being proactive and preventative, and listen to the tap on the shoulder, the 2x4 gets to be the Mack truck. Like Dr. Bill said, the first symptom of a heart attack often is death. I'm feeling fine. And then bam, you're down. So back to clotting factor 7. It's not something that MDs regularly do, but being an advocate for yourself, you can ask for the test. And I highly suggest that you do, because all this means is that you've got more blood clotting in your arteries than someone else. And it is more prone for those that have been vaccinated. We have seen many, there's even a website called Died Suddenly, a myocarditis. That's all because of this blood clotting factor 7. Just be on top of it. Be your own best advocate. I'm leading into to next month. But then, Renee, you experienced this for the first time in Aruba, and it is Dr. Jim. You've met him many times on this show. You know that he was Olympic team physician in 1984 for our Olympians in Sarajevo. He developed this autonomic nervous system walk, which actually does your flow, and it's your body is put into the right cadence. Why is this important? Because when your body flows, you go. I mean, Bill said it really well with movement. It just works that way. And I'm going to put up our Healthopedia 365 website. You can go ahead and if you want any information about this, either on my site or this one, which you'll find more about where we're going next time in our next sojourn in a minute when we go to Kauai, Hawaii. But coming back to this nervous system walk, I've got a client right now that her cancer has reoccurred and we're getting it under remission. Her uterine cancer had gone to her brain. Well, it's back. Well, she cannot, this is a perfect example. She cannot do the walk, but her best friend who's there is doing the beats with her finger. I just got a text from her bestie, and she said within an hour, Lynn, my client, was responding better with her speech patterns because she had a brain bleed yesterday. You can't make this stuff, because the body put in the right condition can and will heal itself, because
yes,
we're the miracle making machine. Because who's the miracle? Renee, you are, Bill is, Glenn is, and I am. And what I know about this walk, you program it to beats per minute. Now I want to get back to Dr. Jim's story. He was given the bobsled team that was really bunged up. They were in bad shape, didn't think they could compete. Well, not only did the bobsled team compete 6 weeks later, now these were, really in tune athletes and really, really, really good athletes and, world class, but they took a silver medal. And so what happened, Dr. Jim still has a licensing agreement. The Department of Defense uses this exercise as the base for all military. I don't care whether you're a Navy SEAL, you're going to come in for boot camp or whatever. When my big bear had the stroke, I did the same thing with his fingers. When I had my fifth metatarsal arch bone was broken, guess what I did? I sat, I tapped with my fingers and my one good leg. And the doctors were amazed how quickly, because it's blood flow and that's where energy flows. So if you want the information about the autonomic nervous system walk, Renee, you had never experienced that. What was that like doing that in Aruba for those 6 days that we were there doing the walk in consecutive days?
I can say so much, but basically, I felt so much clarity and strength. And
Yes.
when I went back to the gym and I did like this inline body scan, my stats were so unexpectedly high. I benefited. I really benefited. It was more than just a feeling, it was physical.
Yes. And didn't you say something about your body mass index? What was that? Wasn't it?
So what happened while I was there and we just did a walk? There wasn't any exercises, any strength training. My lean mass, my muscular skeletal, I built while I was away during that time, which there's no explanation. The amount of health from the coherence that we shared and the exercises that we experienced was just beautiful. And that's where it's at. And we just touched on, the heart rate variability today, breathing, movement, wonderful things. That's where it's at.
Yes, it is. And frankly, where it's at is, we always say, where are you going next? Well, Healthopedia retreat, and where are we going next? And we made a slight change, which that they want to do. When you see the recap video, you'll hear a different destination. But because of the state of things right now, we decided to do a domestic paradise. And where are we going? I am so thrilled to say that we are going to Kauai, Hawaii. Renee, you know that the volcanic and the quantum field in Aruba was second to none. And because we were there, now where the quantum field is the largest on planet Earth is Kauai, Hawaii. All right. So knowing that, that's why we're going. And also Healthopedia author, and I just love to give him a shout out with this, Jason Estes. What a way to propose and give his bride a wedding gift. The wedding gift was the complete off the grid home that he built in Kauai, Hawaii. And we have been talking quite frequently since we were there, and he is going to be our boots on the ground, be there for us, be a part of this experience. It is next year. I guess I just like doing things around my birthday. I guess that's what it is. But we're going to be doing the February 21st to May 1st. That we are only doing, once again, just 30 people. We want to keep it intimate. Why? Because then you can have the experience that Renee was talking about. That's the name of the game. And the good thing is that the commitments are already there. And We only have a few seats remaining and we're a year out. Why? Why do you think that is, Renee?
Well, I'm just going to tell you, after what we all walked away with, I'm not the only one that walked away with health benefits, not even to think of, the mental freeness and clarity, but everyone else did too. So we've got a lot of people that want to be in Kauai. So I would just invite everybody right now to take a look and come aboard.
You have your modalities, you have your philosophy. This is a lifestyle. So let's take a look, take a listen, and let's watch our recap one more time from Aruba, our pink flamingos. And we're going to see by Titan Productions, none other than the videographer extraordinary Robert Towns is actually now being courted by the government of Aruba because of his beautiful work. Let's take a look, take a feel, take a listen. And by the way, the face, the voice of Tony Doty is the producer and the director and the brainchild of our Art of Manifestation film that will be debuting on Amazon Gaia and Netflix. May 16th and 17th is when we have our red carpet in LA. But in the meantime, let's just take a look to our recap in Aruba.
So excited. This is Tony Dreammaker Doty here live in Aruba. It's absolutely beautiful. We are here at this incredible retreat. Big shout out to Dr. Jody Bear, to Dr. Jim Marinakis, to Sir Dr. Antoine. We're so honored to be here. We're having a ball. You need to be at the next one. This is absolutely gorgeous. The most beautiful places in the world. We're making dreams come true.
Hey everybody, we are in Aruba. Today we have the best day ever. The whole group came together. We're getting the vibes. Next time you have to come.
The wind's blowing in Aruba, and we've been blowing all 6 pillars of healthy living in healing and hope. Today was our social pillar. I'm Dr. Jody Barron saying this was amazing.
I had an amazing time once again, expanding my knowledge beyond anything that I could ever imagine, and I'm very blessed for being here. Thank you.
And I'm going to tell you what, this experience couldn't be any better. I'm so grateful to be a part of the Healthopedia tribe.
You guys have fun? Yeah. Woo! I guess there's one thing left to say is we're making dreams come true. See you.
Always.
In Brazil!
That love from the heart.
Mm.
My goodness, Renee. I mean, I know I showed the elongated version, but you know that saying that pictures are worth 1,000 words? Those
Yes.
pictures, you couldn't put words to that, could you?
No.
So, what is the last piece that you would perhaps like to share before we close out this beautiful edition from the heart, and knowing that it is mind, but when the spirit and the soul are connected with the mind,
Mhm.
the body, whether it's the heart or another organ, just goes ahead and responds. So, what is your last piece of wisdom here? 30 seconds of wisdom. And Renee, I just honor you. I adore you. And I will just tell it right on air. I will share a hotel room with you at any time, at any rate. Okay.
It was just so much fun. And honest to goodness, my takeaway is love. The Love Club might sound a little bit cheesy at first, but I'm going to tell you, that's where it's at. And that is where it's always been at. And, just until you make it over to Kauai, something I would say today is, there's resonance breathing. And it's easy to find. 1 to 3 minutes a day can change your mind, change your health, do so much for you, because I'm a huge believer in Dr. Jim Marinakis's process, of which, guess what? You'll be able to find out about in Kauai. Yes.
And find out, because it's the key. Remember when he said, the keys to knowledge. We've given you the keys. So we're built this in the beauty of the volcanic soil and the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. Get your keys in Kauai, in healing,
Love it.
harmony for humanity. And you have all 4 of those in your soul. Renee Brown, I adore you. Thank you, Bill Janacek, the meat suit man himself, for giving us a great start off on this broadcast at the very beginning. Thank you, Glenn Depke, for the depth of your soul and just being vulnerable. And I will just say, and as we say each and every time, in every single way, but don't forget, mark your calendars, May 21st, we're talking about advocacy, health advocacy, right here on Dr. Talk. And join us if you're online and want to learn about your spring cleaning. We'll see you for your Take 5 at 5, but in each and every day, because this is what you do from your heart, Renee Brown. Each and every way. Let's just make it a great healthopedia kind of day, shall we? Ciao for now.
Woman up, 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 up.